All right, traders, if you are serious about making money within the stock market, make sure you stay to the end of this video. I am going to show you my upcoming trading plan where I'm planning to absolutely kill it swing trading Roblox put options. This is going to be a midterm passive income play where I hold it and I do expect it to fall within some time. I'm going to be sharing with you when to enter. I'm going to be sharing with you the confirmations to look for. I'm going to be sharing with you the strategy, the price target, the stop losses. We're going to be reviewing everything. This is the greatest setup. This is the best setup at the best price. This is what it looks like. I'm going to be giving you my entire trading plan on this so you guys can profit on this trading opportunity. Make sure you stay to the end of the video and smash the like button. We are also going to be going over an in-depth price action analysis on SPY, as there's going to be the CPI data released tomorrow, and SPY is at a key critical make it or break it level. So we're going to be going over the SPY, and I'm also going to be sharing with you my number one swing trading plan, right, for Roblox. This is going to be a passive income play, and I'm going to share with you all the information. So I'm going to save that to the end. Right now, let's go over the SPY. So in terms of the SPY, this is going to be very, very simple. We are now at a key critical make it or break it level, right? So in terms of support, this used to be a support level at $380.50, right? When it cracked that support, when on this day, when it cracked and turned that previous support into a high, instead of having this big upside move like it did when it reacted as support, right here it reacted as a resistance and it had a nice downside move. And then you could see right around here, SPY was pushing 3 days at this previous support, which turned into resistance here. It was pushing up 3 days, and on the 4th day right here, it turns it into support and started exploding back up to this 390 resistance. Now, we are back at support, and SPY did end up forming lower highs on this little move up. So where to make it or break it level, guys? In terms of SPY making it, where does SPY go if it makes it? If it holds this level and the bulls take control, where are we going to be heading into this week if that occurs, right? If it holds this red line that I drew right here. If it does do that, we're going to be on track for a big move up within time, not right away, but we will be on track for a gap fill play to $388.67. That is the best price for this week to buy puts on SPY, $388.67. If you want another best price, $393 and $390s, right around that zone. So what I'm telling you is, if the SPY bottoms, if it holds like it currently is, if it reacts bullish at this level, this 380s level, it bounced and it is currently trending up a tiny bit during extended hours, then we will be on track to continue for a move up to about $388.67. That's where we'll be on track to go for this week. Now, if the SPY cracks this key support level, it's going to be 379.60, right? 379.60 to 380, that's the support level. If it cracks, reacts as a resistance level. If you see the previous closing price, 380.83, crack and react as a resistance level as well, then the SPY is going to be trending down. How low is it going to go? It'll be on track to go to 372 by the end of the week. So I want you to understand, we are at a key critical make it or break it level, right? So it is going to be your job and our job as traders to determine if the SPY is reacting bullish or bearish at this level. And then once we make that determination, we make our trade, and if it's going to be calls, we ride it back up a little bit and attempts to fill the gap. If it's going to be puts, then we ride it back down a little bit. Quick micro scalps in and out at these key levels. So the levels that you're going to want to be scalping at in terms of this week, we are currently at the middle make it or break it channel. This is going to be a really good level. It is going to be 379.50 to 380.83. That's that support zone. If it reacts to support, it rockets to fill the gap. If it breaks down, reacts as a resistance, it crashes back down to go to this support towards your lower 370s, right? So pay attention to those key levels. That's your trading zone that I want you to focus on. And then in terms of best level for puts towards the top of the channel this week, 388.67. And then in terms of best level for calls, if this did end up cracking, the best level for calls would be 372. So that is the analysis. That's what I want you to pay attention in terms of the SPY. This is very, very simple. Heading into tomorrow, if 380.83, the closing price, if that reacts as support, if it starts consolidating, starts holding, starts bouncing off the level, SPY is going to be bullish. If it reacts as a resistance, if you see 379.50's crack, then it's over and SPY gets crushed. For all the bears right now hoping for a big downfall for this week, it is not going to happen until 379.50 cracks. Until then, it's just going to continue to try and fill the gap. There's a gap to fill at 388.67. We're at make it or break it. Bears have to crack it quick to prevent the gap fill. That's the analysis. That's the thoughts on SPY. Now, let's get into this idea, because for those of you who stay to the end of these videos, you truly do get rewarded with the best trading information, with the best trading plans. So let's get into this. We're going to be going over Roblox, right? This is going to be a play. This is going to be the best setup at the best price in terms of what I'm going to be using, to determine this downfall, this crash, right? I'm planning to get in on some nice leaps here coming up, some nice more midterm put options on this one soon. I'm going to show you the strategy. So what is the strategy? It is a gap close reversal to fill the gap below. It's my number one trading strategy of 2022. It's where my success came from in terms of 2022, which was focusing on put options at key resistance levels when stocks were filling their gaps and showing signs of a reversal to then fill the gap below. So I'm going to be going over the strategy. It's my best one. And there's also an indicator. There's an indicator that triggered. There's an indicator that has gone off using the Squeeze Pro. There was an indicator that has been identified that Roblox should overall start to pull back within some time. So I'm going to be going over that indicator as well. This is very interesting, man. This is some very interesting trading times. But in terms of these puts on Roblox, this has to react negative at the key level. If it does not react negative at the key level, I am going to stay away. You have to be very, very careful. I've been looking into this indicator that I've been sharing with you in terms of how it works. I've been looking into it personally. I do see one time right here where it just did not work out, and it was a massive gap up. It was a massive squeeze, and it just started rocketing. So that's something that I am going to keep in mind, but we're going to be going over it here in a second. So let's just kind of go over this, right? I'm just going to explain to you the bull theory and the bear theory. Right now, in terms of like lead put options, if you're not in on any, I would wait. If you're not in on this, I would wait right now. If you are in on something like this, then I would look to start scaling once we get the confirmation. So let's just kind of go over this. So in terms of Roblox and the potential of this crashing, let's kind of go over this, right? We have this gap. We have this gap to fill right here at $42. A lot of resistance, from that $42 level. It just got absolutely crushed. It crashed 50%, hitting 52-week lows, right? Very, very big downfall, rapid fire. And we do have some gaps that are waiting to fill below. Roblox likes to fill the gaps. So here's the deal. We have this gap to fill at $42. It filled the gap. Ever since it filled that gap at $42, it's been having a reversal. So we call that a gap close reversal. When the stock fills the gap at a key resistance level with big downside potential, this is the day it filled the gap. It started having a reversal. It started reacting as resistance, forming lower highs, gapping down, forming lower highs, trying to crack that support, just like SPY tried to crack that support. So overall, it's been bearish since it had that gap close reversal level at $42. So what does this mean? This means Roblox is currently in the process, and this is where that gap was at $42 that I showed you right here. It is in the process of having a gap close reversal to then drop and fill the gap within time that's waiting to fill below. You got a gap to fill below at $32.86. So now I'm going to show you. So I explained to you what it's in the process of doing. But in order for this to continue to downfall, in order for this to continue to have a gap close reversal to then fill that gap below, I'm going to show you how to determine that right now. So let's discuss the chart. So in terms of this chart, the overall target on this play would be 32.86. Now here's what I want you to understand. There's a new gap. There's a new gap that is waiting to fill right here at 41.25, which technically speaking is going to be the new best price to buy puts on Roblox. Now, here's what can change this, right? So the bears are going to be in control as long as 42, but ideally 41.25. That's pretty much what you want to see those lower highs form. As long as pretty much 41.25 reacts as a resistance, it forms bearish candlesticks, it looks bearish. Within time, this should get crushed as long as it reacts as 41.25, 42 resistance. Now, this is what I want to bring awareness to. One of the reasons why I also think this can crash is the squeeze pro indicator. I want to show you how Roblox has been reacting when it when it forms this dark blue on the squeeze. When you see the dark blue on the squeeze right here, that's bearish. Matched with that red candlestick, it typically drops after that. So now I'm going to show you some examples of what happens to Roblox stock. I'm not talking about other stocks, talking about Roblox stock when it forms this dark blue prior to having a massive squeeze and massive run up. So let's just go back in time and we're going to look at all the times pretty much it went dark blue. So here's the time it had a nice little run up overall. And this is where the, when the big bars come in, the dark blue came in, it started selling off. So that's one time where it kind of worked. This right here, it started forming dark blue right here, crunching up at highs, kind of like what it's doing now. And then it started to sell off, right? It gets really bad when it goes from that blue to red. That's when it gets really bad, that blue to red. And then here's another time where it started turning dark blue right around here, and then overall it started selling off. So you can see for the most part it's been working. But now I want to bring awareness to this because this is going to be an opportunity. If you see this happen, this is where you need to be bullish and you need to be expecting like pretty much the impossible to occur, a nice squeeze up for Roblox. This is what I found interesting. So right here, we were just kind of chopping up towards highs. It had a nice run up, a nice little run up, and then it chopped up towards the highs. It started forming dark blue. Usually when it does that, it will continue to sell off. It had a nice little pullback, but then it just started going AWOL, and it just had a massive move to the upside, right? Due to earnings and then further continuations once it was no longer turning dark blue. But then once it turned dark blue on a bigger scale at a more overbought level, massive sell-off. So I just want to bring awareness to this because it could have a big move up, and you do need to understand on when to be bullish, right? So in terms of when to be bullish on Roblox stock, when would you not want to be holding puts? When would you want to cut a loss? $42. The main point I would make on this is a break above 42, and if 42 reacts to support and it starts pushing up, in my mind, that would be extremely bullish. And instead of having to push down to 32, we would have a nice move to $45 to even $48 if that were to occur, because previous resistance right here had a breakout. It did pull back and it is having a gap close reversal, but it's still holding that previous resistance right here. Those previous highs are now reacting as a support level, which is technically bullish, but we are in the process of having a gap close reversal to fill the gap below. So what I would like to see, before making a new decision on this is 41.25. If it reacts as 41.25 at resistance, then I'm really bearish and I'm convinced that this is just going to snap within time to $33 to fill this gap. Now, if this breaks above 41.25, it's forming higher support. And then, if you're wondering, well, when does Roblox just squeeze like crazy? When do the bears get screwed? If I'm in puts, when do I not want to be holding those puts and exit and switch to calls? Because there's nothing wrong with switching sides. I'm completely fine with switching sides on a trade because I enter at a key level, cut my loss strategically, very quickly, and then switch sides, make it all back in more, not even with a bigger position size, because the percentage return is going to outweigh the percentage loss easily. So with that being said, $40 and $41. $41.25, $41.25. This resistance right here, if that breaks out and reacts to support, Roblox is going to start running like crazy if that occurs, especially if 42 breaks out. If you see the top of this resistance, if you see this gap fill level right here, 41.25, breakout, react to support, then it's super bullish. So in terms of right now, another reason why I am also kind of bearish on Roblox, this is going to be another reason on why I'm bearish as well. The wick. Whenever, and again, I'm speaking for Roblox. So in terms of what I'm showing you and how I'm doing this, you can see how the stock you're interested in reacts when it does the things that I'm discussing with Roblox, and then see how it plays out. This is one thing I've noticed. When Roblox has a strong run up and then it forms a wick. So for example, this is a very strong run up. This is a very strong micro run up. look at this wick. You see how it forms that wick, and that wick is at that gap close reversal level with big resistance, had a rapid crash, 52-week lows last time at this level, right? What I've noticed is when Roblox forms that top wick, this top wick right here on the daily chart at resistance, it tends to sell off, especially on a green day. Let me show you what it is that I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you some examples on what it is that I'm talking about. Look at this. You see the top wick, the overall top wick, it starts dropping. The top wick, it starts dropping within some time. Let me show you some more examples. So here we go again. Strong push up. This is the top wick, starts going down within time, right? Strong push up, the top wick right here with these green candles at the key resistance starts pushing down, right? The wick pushes down. So that's what I want to bring awareness to on another reason why I'm overall bearish. So for this to flip bullish, for the bulls to take control, for this to rocket, it would need to break above 41.25, turn into support, push above 42, game over, bulls are in control, it's going to fly. Until then, and as long as, 41.25 reacts as a resistance, basically if we push to 41.25 and that reacts as a resistance, we close red, I'm super bearish. I'm picking up, adding leaps at these levels, right? To ride for the gap to fill. So I'm not fully convinced that the gap right here at 33 is going to fill yet until we get a confirmation of this. Ideally, I would like this 41.25 gap to fill. It rejects, reacts as a resistance, boom. That's like all the confirmation I truly need for this continuation to occur. So that's what I want to bring awareness to. And then in terms of when does it just get absolutely annihilated? When does it get crushed? When is it over? And when do the bears fully take control? So at resistance, 41.25 has to turn to resistance for that to happen. If that happens, then I do believe 37.40 will crack within time, and then it sells off, gets crushed to fill the gap within time, right? So that's the idea. And I explained to you the things I'm looking for. So I'm looking for bearish confirmations, a bearish daily candlestick on the daily chart at 41.25. I would like that ideal push. If not, and it just cracks 37.75, then it's just over. It gets crushed. That's what I'm looking for. And then I gave you the bull theory as well. If this does push above 41.25, close green, push above 42, this is going to rock it, right? So I share with you the theory. So, let's say you see this theory playing out, I explain to you what it is that I'm looking for, and you see it, and then you're like, oh, wow, this looks bearish here. It's rejecting, it's closing weak. I'm gonna wait till the close, see how it looks on the daily chart, see if it truly rejects that, right? Now you're probably wondering, well, now that everything I'm talking about is, looking good, it's looking very bearish, and we got the rejection. What contracts do I buy? So if we get the reactions that I'm looking for, these are going to be the puts that I will be picking up. And these will be the ones that I think will have enough time. So let me take a look here real quick. So in terms of the strike price I will be going with are going to be the ones closest to the stock price. It's basically going to be an at the money strike, right? So if I enter here at 41.25, then I'm going to be going with like a 41 strike. If I enter here more towards, a lower level, say it's breaking down and I enter at 38, then it'd be a $38 strike. So I go with the closest strike price. I don't go really out of the money. If I'm going out of the money, it's barely out of the money. It's like the closest strike to out of money, right? So I'm basically staying at the money. And then in terms of time length on these, what I would look into is, I think this would be more than enough time. Probably, let me just double check here one statistic. So, all three of these look pretty good. August 12th, August 5th, if you're trying to play it super safe, if you're going the more riskier route, then July 29th, right? With these, you would have more time on. But overall, these look fairly good. That's what I'm liking. And I explained to you, the strikes that I would be selecting. So yeah, that's where we're kind of at. We just need to give it a little bit more time to determine bulls or bears in control. Right now, bears are technically in control because it filled the gap. The problem is, though, it's holding previous resistance reacting as support for 5 days, just like SPY has been turning that 380.50 into support for 5 days, right? That's the issue. So if it continues to hold, then it pushes to 41.25. But if 41.25 turns into resistance, then for the most part, it's basically over, and within time, it should crack 37 if that happens. But if it breaks out and reacts strong, you see a bullish candlestick on the daily forming towards close, it's closing strong towards that level, then the bulls will be in full control. So you know the best level to get in, and you know when to cut losses, because above 42, it's going to be game over for bears above 42. So we got to see, because it's going to be reliant on how SPY reacts. So another tip I can give you is, if you're interested in buying leap puts on a stock, we got to see how SPY reacts at 380s. If it holds, then it's best to wait for 388.67 to see how SPY reacts. If it reacts bearish there, then you could look to play puts. But if it reacts bullish there, you got to wait for the next gap. The next gap is until 401.44. So guys, you do have to be careful. It's still at the key level. It's still holding. I mean, look at the 5-day chart on the SPY, right? If let's do 5-day, 5-minute. It's like you got to bring awareness to this. You got to be, if you're going to play a put, you got to be doing it at the best prices. So let me do an intraday, 5-day, 10-minute. And let me show you what it is that I'm talking about here. So let's see. Okay, we'll just do this. This will be easier. So this is the point I'm making. This is where we're at right now. You see the support, heavy support, nice run up, continuation of a run up. If we get that breakout and this pushes above 381 and it's looking bullish and it holds, this week we're really going to be on track for that move up to fill the gap at 388, which is where it started to top out towards last time, 388 to 390, right? We're at key critical support. Now, if this cracks and reacts as a resistance level, then within some time, we'll be heading back into the 374, 373 range, right? You see the chart. When this cracks, it's a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath when this cracks. If SPY opens up with some crazy gap down tomorrow at 372, I'm buying calls. 372, 373, I would definitely buy calls for scalps, not for holding. It's just you gotta bring awareness to this. You're at a very dangerous level to just go buying puts. It's at 380s. This just went 380 to 385, and then a couple days later to 390, right? So best prices for puts, 388.67, and then for Roblox, the 41.25 level, those are the best prices. But we got to see how it reacts. If this looks really bearish and reacts as a resistance, I'll be willing to play puts at a key breakdown, but I'm not risking much. Like if I'm getting puts when it's at 380, when it's breaking down 380, 379.50, if I'm playing puts that low, then my risk is like a push to 380.50, a push to 381, and I'm out. Can't really risk too much at not the greatest level, right? Or you're just going to get squeezed and get wrecked. So yeah, we got to see. It's just, this is where we're at. Reacts to support, strong push up. Reacts as a resistance, breaks down, strong move down 374. Holds, reacts to support, strong move up to 385, and then we will be on track for the gap to fill 388 if this holds. As of now, it has held, but we got to see how it reacts. You know where this stands. You know how this plays out. We are at a very, this is going to be a very generous level. Look at this level. I'm going to show you the perspective right here. This is the perspective on how I see this as such a great trading opportunity. This is the level right here, this red line. See how it cracks, reacts as a resistance, reacts as this resistance, top wick, boom, confirmation of play puts, it's resistance, bank. See what happens when it reacts to support, reacts to support, reacts to support, reacts to support, boom, massive move up, reacts as a resistance, massive move down. All we're trying to do, right? I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm bullish tomorrow, oh, I'm bearish tomorrow. No, I'm a reactor. All I'm trying to do is a react, right? So this is key. For those of you who stayed to the end of this video, you truly do get rewarded. Listen to what I'm about to say because this is so important. Write this down. I'm interested in seeing how stocks react at the best prices to be trading at. This is going to be a very good trading opportunity because it's a key momentum move, key momentum one-sided move. Is it the best price of the overall channel? No, there's better levels to be trading at, but this is a high momentum level where money is to be made. Big one-sided move, big one-sided move. If it reacts as a resistance level, I buy the puts as close as possible to the red line right here. So if it cracks, I don't buy into the crack because that's not a good entry. Wait for the push up, then buy the puts, right? You got the confirmation of the crack. Wait for the push up, then buy the puts into the push up, not into the crack. Now, if it reacts as a support level where it is holding and then it bounces, holding, forming wicks, these wicks bouncing, right? Then I will look to play calls because the reaction is bullish, anticipating for a nice squeeze up. Reacts as a resistance, anticipating for a nice crash down. Micro pullbacks, right? And this is key. This is what I want you to understand, right? As long as you cut losses quickly and you do a decent job, you don't have to let your wins run really big. You just got to cut your losses quickly. And if you want to size in a little bit bigger on the next trade, not too big, you should be fine. You should be completely fine, in terms of these options trades, trading at these levels, right? Because what I want you to understand is this is the second part. It's called adapting. Let's say it had a bullish reaction and I bought calls, but then I got in and it's looking bearish and it hit my max pain. I stop out, and as long as it's at that key level where I can enter in, I adapt and I switch to puts. So if I bought puts right here and it started pushing above, and then it had a pullback and reacted as support at this level, and then it started pushing up, I'm out. I'm cutting my loss. Boom, small loss. Switch to calls, only on red candles, right? And then you could do the same thing. If I'm buying calls right here because it's reacting as bullish, but then it cracks that level and then it starts forming lower highs, and I see that the top of these candles are now at that previous support, right? If the top of these candles are at this red line, bearish. See the top wicks? Bearish. See the bottom wicks at the key line? Bullish. That's it. All I'm looking for on these candlesticks, very simple. I'm looking to see if wicks are at the bottom, big move up. Calls. Wicks are at the top, big move down. Puts. That's it. So if I enter a trade because it's reacting the way I want it to, and then I get stopped out, I am willing, not at all times, but I am very willing as soon as I exit to switch to the other side, because I'm anticipating a big move at this level. And if I was wrong and I got stopped out for a small loss, why not switch sides and take advantage of that big move? But then if I'm wrong again, I'll typically just chill from there. But that's something that you need to understand. You need to know when to cut your loss and also when it makes sense to switch sides. And we are at a level where it does make sense to switch sides if you are wrong about that trade. So just remember, wicks at the top of this line, bearish puts. Wicks at the bottom of this line, bullish calls. In terms of the candlesticks, you can use all kinds of time frames to determine that. You can use all kinds of time frames, right? But you guys understand this. You guys understand. So reacting and adapting, cutting losses quickly, and then, taking advantage of those gains, taking advantage of those wins, and then taking profits quickly along the way as well. So if you have calls and it has a big spike, lock in some gains. If you have puts, it has a big pullback, lock in some gains. When you're selling calls, you should be selling into green candles. When you're selling puts, you should be selling into red candles. So I just wanted to bring awareness to that. And then in terms of buying, when you're buying calls, you should actually be buying into red candles. When you're buying puts, you should be buying into green candles, because you wait for a confirmation. I'm going to show you a classic example of what it is that I'm talking about, right? It's going to help you to prevent that theta burn, and it's really going to help you getting an even better entry. An entry so good. When the stock turns bearish and it starts falling, people just buy puts into these red candlesticks, and then it has a little move up and they get squeezed and they're instantly down 5-10% if they're going with close expirations. So I'm typically doing micro scalps. I don't hold very long. I do typically the closest expiration. So if there is a same day, I will do a same day. But I'm going to show you one more trick here before I go. This will help you as well. Let's go back to this. Okay, where was that? This is what I'm talking about. So this is the key level, right? Reacts as a resistance, it cracks. Boom, bearish confirmation. I want to buy puts. Am I buying puts here? No. Wait for it to pump back up. Buy them into the green candles. Why buy them into the green candles? You already got the bearish confirmation. We're already bearish. So if it's going to push back up, we're going to buy puts into the push up, not into the downfall. If you buy puts once this cracks, you're buying puts right here. As soon as you get in, you get squeezed. Stocks tend to go back to previous support levels once they crack. Obviously not all the time, but there's a chance of what I'm telling you is there's a good chance where it can go back to the previous support that just cracked. And if it reacts as a resistance, reacts as a lower high, then it should continue to crash. But the thing is, it already reacted as a resistance. So if you're going to play puts, why not just go with the best entry instead of going with some sort of confirmation? I look at it as like this. Your bearish confirmation is here. It cracked. It reacted as a resistance. Instead of buying puts now, wait for the push up, then buy puts into the green candles into the push up, right? If you wanted a better confirmation, you could wait for some lower highs to form, and then you could buy the puts as it's falling down. But I would just get a better entry, man. I think entry is better than a confirmation. Once you identify that it reacts a certain way, just get in when it pushes back up. Just do that. Like we've identified it bearish here. It pulls back. Don't get into the pullback. Just get in when it looks bullish, when it's running back up at that key level for the previous support to turn to resistance. Get in there. Much better chances, right? Because if I'm buying puts right here, for an example, and it pushes back up, I'm going to be worried because I'm down and it's trying to break above the key level. And if I know if it breaks above this key level, then SPY's really going to start flipping against me and I'm going to have to get out. And I'll even have a bigger loss now because I got not as good as an entry as I could have if I just waited for a pump back up and bought when things weren't as bearish, right? So that's what I would tell you. I would tell you to get better entries, puts on green candles and calls on red candles. Because if you're getting puts up here, you can hold a little bit longer than the guy getting down here, right? If I'm buying puts right here and it pushes above a little, I can see how it reacts. If it pulls back and goes below, then I feel comfortable holding. If it pulls back and bounces, then I'm out. But what I'm telling you is if you bought the puts here and you said, okay, it's at the red line, I want to see how it reacts, you're already down nicely. And then if it breaks out and it doesn't have that pullback, you can't see how it reacts. You can't see how it reacts. You can't see how certain things react if you don't have a certain entry. If I have puts here, I can see how certain things react because I won't be as down as much as the guy who entered here. Do you understand? If you really want to do what's best for you, get in at those best entries. You can use a confirmation, but when it's confirmed, wait for it to go against what you want to do and then buy into that against move. That's what I would recommend. So there you go. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. Tomorrow's going to be a phenomenal trade day, man. It should be a nice green day. This is going to be a phenomenal trade day. If you do want to be a part of Trader Society, it's going to be the first link down below in the description. All the information is explained. It's a one-time fee. You get lifetime access to the video lesson library, which is going to show you how to trade the best setups at the best prices. It's going to show you the unique app trading strategies I created. It's going to teach you risk management, position sizing, psychology, mindset training. You do also get access to the live trading streams that I do every single day at Market Open, where you get to watch me trade live at Market Open, see my charts, hear the real-time analysis, see my trades, see my open and close positions. You do also get access to where you can ask me questions live on the spot in Discord or in the live trading session that I do at Market Open. And you do also get access to the Discord server, to the networking opportunities in there. There's a lot more to it. If you want to check it out, the indicators, the charts, everything is included within Trader Society. My experience, my 10 years experience within the stock market, you will see the history of that, a lot of the history of that within Trader Society, within the video lessons, within the live streams that are also recorded, so you can go back and watch them at any time. So yeah, if you do want to join us, it is going to be the first link in the description below. As soon as you join, you get instant lifetime access. You can start trading with us as soon as tomorrow. I'm telling you guys, the watch list, the real-time analysis, I'm going to prepare you guys to trade the best steps at the best prices in real time. I'm going to get you in the key levels. I'm going to show you how to trade. I'm going to show you how to trade. You get in Trader Society, I can tell you this, your entries are going to be on a whole nother level. And when it comes to trading options, and I mainly scalp them, entry is everything. Entry is the most important thing. If you don't have the best entry on the day, you've already lost. You're going to be in a situation where if you hold, it's going to be a huge loss. I'm in situations where if I get in at the best entry and I hold, it could be a huge loss because the market can truly go against it, right? But imagine a poor entry and you held, right? So I'm not holding too long. I'm getting stopped out quickly when wrong. And I lock in my gains. I'm aiming for 30, 40, 50% on closest expirations. And then in terms of my losses, I'm trying to cut them below 15, 20%. I'm not trying to let my losses ride. I get out super quickly. I scalp like a sniper. I have the timing down. I have the entries down. If you want to witness it, it's within Trader Society. I will see you guys tomorrow live at Market Open. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel, and thank you so much for investing into your education. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video tomorrow.